Hello and welcome to my first impressions of God Eater. This anime is actually based on a video game which from what I've heard is similar to the Monster Hunter series. Unfortunately, I have no experience with the video game, so I can't really judge how good of an adaptation this is. So I'm going to be judging this anime solely on its own merits. God Eater is set in a world that is overrun by these giant monsters known as Aragami. In order to fight back, humans have created these powerful weapons known as God Arcs, which is why their wielders are known as God Eaters. The story follows Lenka, a young soldier who is out for his revenge against the Aragami. The story is very basic and it doesn't really get any more complex than monsters fighting good guys. I believe the problem is that the video game was also very light on plot, so the anime followed in its footsteps. And with a video game, it's absolutely fine for your story to take a back seat because you've got the gameplay to keep people engaged. But with an anime, the story is a lot more important. I really wish they could have added a bit more to the story, even if it meant straying away from the video game a bit. As it is, I didn't find the story interesting at all and it made it very difficult to care about anything that was happening. I've heard a lot of people compare this show's story to Attack on Titans, and I will concede, there are a lot of similarities there. They're both set in post-apocalyptic worlds filled with gigantic monsters, and they both have angsty teenage boys as their protagonists. However, I've heard a few people even go as far as to say that this show flat out rips off Attack on Titan, which I think is a bit unfair. From what I've read, the story in this anime is very close to the video games, which was made in 2010, 2 whole years before the Attack on Titan anime came out. Now you could make the argument that the video game ripped off the manga, but honestly, I think people were just way too quick to yell rip off in this situation. Because I didn't get into the story, I also found it very difficult to care about the characters as well. They all just seemed so generic, and while there were some attempts at character development, it wasn't anywhere near enough to get me interested in any member of the cast. Even the main character Lenka seems like your standard run-of-the-mill shonen protagonist. It's a real pity, you know. I was hoping to get into this show a lot more than I did. Even though the characters and the story weren't very compelling, there are a few positives here. This show has a very interesting art style and it really captures the look of a video game. The studio that made this show are the same guys that do the animation for the Tales games, and they are a perfect fit. Overall, I love how this show looks, and its unique visual design really helps it stand out. Another positive aspect is the action. It's really good. Watching the God Eaters take on the Aragami was always very entertaining, especially when they all had to work together to take down a massive one. The action scenes are also enhanced by the unique visual style and the great animation. The Aragami are also very well designed. There is a ton of variety and they all look extremely threatening. The soundtrack is also very good and complements the action well, which helped me actually become engaged in the show. It was pretty surprising. Because of these action scenes, I went from being extremely bored to very entertained. I think action fans will get a real kick out of this. However, considering that the action scenes only take up 20 to 25% of the entire runtime, I don't think that's going to be enough to keep most people interested. And unfortunately, I'm one of those people. I think I'm just going to have to drop God Eater and move on to something else. So anyway, thank you very much to everybody who watched this video. If you have any feedback, feel free to leave a comment. If you like this video and want to see more, feel free to subscribe as well. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.